He's done it! Sonic Unleashed exists! Welcome everybody, my name is Zarkator, and today we are setting up an emulator for Sonic Unleashed. So Xenia Canary, or Xenia in general, is the premier Xbox 360 emulator, and as some of you may know, Sonic Unleashed is like one of the very few video games that just doesn't really exist. It's only playable on the Xbox 360, and like it's backwards compatible on the Xbox One, and it is a lot better on the Xbox Series X, but you're not going to go buy an Xbox Series X for Sonic Unleashed and nothing else, right? So today we're going to set it up. I have here a very extensive, in-depth, comprehensive guide, linked to it in the description with all the links and everything you need to get started. You can read through this and set it up yourself. The video here today is just to guide you along and show you a couple of things that don't really translate well in just a Google Doc. So first things first, the essential files you're going to need: Xenia Canary, I got right here. You're gonna hit code, download the zip. This is the latest build. This is the most updated. There've recently been like some custom Xenia builds, like Xenia Unleashed, that you would get that like are specifically built for Sonic Unleashed. The new experimental build of Xenia is called Canary, and the newest updates of it have much improved on how well it can emulate Sonic Unleashed specifically. Much better than that Xenia Unleashed custom stuff, so you don't need that anymore. Just get the Canary, the latest build. And then you're also going to need this patches folder right here. So what this is it's pretty much just like a bunch of like codes, or like, action replay codes, or patches or updates to games, like several games, like title updates or something, that are going to help you activate some emulator only cheats, or not cheats, but like graphical improvements and stuff like that. Next, you're going to need this ISO extractor. I actually have it open up over here already. What this is going to do is you're going to need the game itself, and I can't tell you how to get it in this video. You can dump it yourself off of a real disc from the Xbox 360, or you can happen upon it elsewise. Wink wink. So if you have a regular ISO, a disk image file, like here, I'll show you. If you have this Sonic Unleashed NTSC-U or J disk image file, if you have this, then you're gonna need this ISO extracting thing. If you don't, if you have this folder right here filled with all this stuff, then you can skip this part and go to step 4. But anyway, we're gonna go to step 3 right now. And what this is we're gonna open up the ISO extractor, which is you'll get this folder, ISO extract. Unzip it, open this up, choose ISO folder. It's gonna show you like you're gonna choose wherever you have the game, and then a destination. You're gonna make a separate like folder wherever you want to make it. I put like this one right here, games or whatever. You can name it Sonic Unleashed game or whatever you want. Then you're gonna hit go. If you have more ISOs, like for example, I have Sonic 06 right here also. Sonic 06 would also show up here. Make sure that is unchecked. Make sure Sonic Unleashed is the only game checked here, or else you're gonna get a completely different file with like mixed up everything, and it's not gonna work. Hit go. It'll take it took me like 45-50 seconds, and then just close it out. It'll say finished on the bottom window there, and you'll end up with this folder. It'll be named whatever you named it, and it'll have everything in here. Now the one thing you need to make sure it has is press D on your keyboard. You'll find default.xex. So this is what Xenia kind of is going to read as the executable file to open up Sonic Unleashed, and these are all the rest of the assets and everything around here. So this is the game file. This is Sonic Unleashed right here. So next step, let's see. The patches. So we're gonna get that patches folder I showed you earlier, and I put it right here. You're gonna put it right where your Xenia Canary is. Also, make sure before you do anything like customary, make sure you open up Xenia Canary, just, you know, out of the box. Oops, mine went full screen. That's fine. Make sure you open it up, because, and then you just close it again. This will make this config file, like the log file of the first time launch, a TOML file, or a TOML as I call it. Open this up, okay? Once you get the patches folder in this folder, we're gonna go in here and we're gonna enable the patches. So press Control F to search patch. I'm just gonna apply patches right here, right under general. Apply patches. This is gonna say false, or it should. If it doesn't, if it says true, that's fine. Make sure it says true, and then right above it, vsync interval. It might say like 16 or 12 or something. Make sure it says 8. If it already says 8, that's fine. And there's a third thing you want to make sure you do. Let me check my own guide here. Show achievement notifications. So I'm gonna find right here. Show achievement notification. This is gonna be set to true. What this does is the emulator is gonna like give you fake achievement notifications. Like if you obtain an achievement in a game, it'll like pop up on the screen and be like, you know, you got the achievement. Like Sonic Unleashed is like, you got a brawler for killing 50 enemies or whatever. It doesn't actually save or log those achievements anywhere, and so every time you load up the game, all your achievements are reset. So whenever you do something that unlocks an achievement again, you'll get the notification again, and it'll happen all the time, and it gets very annoying. So turn this to false. Otherwise, you know, if you really like the achievement ding, then sure, whatever, but it's definitely better if you change that to false. So that's good. Save that file, Control S, and then close it. Now we're gonna go into patches, scroll all the way down, Sonic Unleashed.patch. The TU2 one is different, don't worry about that. The patch right here. So we got the patch names, like this one's 60 FPS, and it'll say is enabled, and they're all going to be false. Set 60 FPS to true for sure. I'm sure you want to have 60 FPS. 1280 by 720, this one is like absolutely required just to get everything else working with the mod manager and everything we're going to be using. So just setting that one to true, even if you don't want to actually run it at 1280, we're gonna be able to change that later. Set it to true, and then disable color adjustment. There is a weird like piss filter that you're gonna be able to remove by making this true, and the mod manager will also take advantage of this. Shadow maps, this will kind of make like the entire game like run better at the cost of, you know, it deletes a lot of shadows and stuff like that. It'll make the game look worse but run better. So if you are having lag issues, you can change that to true, see how it looks, see how you feel about it. It's up to you. Depth of field, same thing. If you like how the depth of field in Sonic Unleashed looks, then go ahead and leave it false. Or if you're having a performance issue, maybe set it to true to get rid of that. Radial blur, same thing. Aspect ratio, this depends on what kind of monitor you have. If you have like a real wide screen, whatever, you can set that to true, and then the mod manager will be able to make a custom aspect ratio. So next, step 5. So the mod manager itself. So you're gonna download it from the link I have in the guide here, right up here, mod manager. And it's just going to be a folder with one executable you're going to take. It's literally this right here. This application right here is all that's in the folder. You put it wherever your Xenia is right here. And you're going to open it up and you get this. It's going to have like a first time opening thing where it's going to ask you for all the paths. So it's going to ask you like, where is Xenia? And you direct it to, you know, the folder right here. And then it's going to ask you, where is Sonic Unleashed? And you don't give it the ISO. You want to give it the thing you made with the ISO extract. Give it this games folder. Give it this path, the one with default.xex in it. And then it'll ask you like optional for the save file. If you're going to be using any mods that involve save file redirection, like stage mods or something like that, then you can find the save data and put that in. We're not doing that for this tutorial, so you can just ignore that. It's optional. You can figure that out later. You can always go back and go into the settings of the mod manager, and right here you can find it and put it in. And then it's also going to ask you for like I think it'll ask you where you want to put your mods. Now, you can make your own mods folder. I just put it right here. So just make a folder. You can name it whatever you want. I named mine mods, obviously, because that's what they are. Also, worth noting, I do have a backup of the default.xex. So before you do anything to edit your default.xex, you could just copy it and put it out here. So just in case you fuck something up or whatever, you can delete the one in there and then just shove this one right back in, and it'll reset all your mods and make sure everything's working correctly. That is an optional step. I haven't run into any issues where that is required yet, so take it with a grain of salt. Otherwise, this is our mods folder. As you can see, I have a few of them already. I've been messing around for a while, last like 3 days. There's going to be a few in the guide linked, some important ones that we're going to use to improve the quality of life and performance of Sonic Unleashed. And some other ones I have in here just for fun that you want to try out. Follow on Game Banana. We'll get there when we get there. Next, so once you get all these paths done, we have the mods. You're going to click on Emulator, API right here. So you have DirectX 12, Vulkan, or Custom. So if you have an NVIDIA GPU, DirectX 12 is probably going to be the best one for you. You can mess around with all three of them. They're all different. And just try it out, like hit DirectX 12 and then hit save install content launch unleashed, and it'll install whatever mods you have in. Right now you don't have any probably, but it'll take like 30 seconds and then it'll open up the game, see how it runs, play maybe like the first level, see if it glitches out or if it crashes or anything. If it's really bad looking, switch to Vulkan and try that. If that doesn't work super well, try Custom, and Custom is the one that works best for me. It runs absolutely perfectly. So if you have an AMD GPU, Vulkan is probably the best option. But so DirectX 12 lets you choose the actual resolution of the game. So I have mine at 2K, and this setting does persist. See, if I change it to Vulkan, it no longer lets me change this, but the setting is still there. Like, it still persists. It's still going to be 2K in Vulkan when I open up the game. Same thing for Custom. All of the options go away, but they still work based on what I have here. I have everything checked. The gamma correction is that patch that you enabled earlier to disable the color corrections. You can turn it off if you want, but if you turn it on, it kind of gives you more accurate colors, stops the screen from getting like washed out from like black, you know, in the nighttime stages and stuff like that. VSync is going to cap your FPS at the game's like native parameters so that it won't mess with any of the physics or the timing based things in the game. You can turn it off and the game will run and look way smoother and it'll feel really good. But if you run into any like actual gameplay problems, like the mashing minigames usually will be like way too hard, you'll have to turn that on just to get past that. No big deal. You can leave it on if you'd like, but I like how it looks without VSync. It's up to you. And if you get any screen tearing, also VSync will fix screen tearing. Launch in full screen, that's up to you. If you have anything you want to change in the Xenia emulator settings wise, you can turn that off so it'll launch in windowed mode. You can do whatever you gotta do. Either way, if Xenia is in full screen, just press escape and it'll go to windowed mode. And Discord rich presence, if you care about telling your friends, hey, I'm playing Sonic Unleashed, then turn that on, that's fine. Anyway, so the API I like to use is Custom. Now we're going to go to settings. So yeah, the mods directory and the game executable over here. These options down here. Launch emulator after installing mods. Check that, because we're going to be using the mod manager as the sort of the launcher for the game itself, just to make everything easier. Uninstall mods automatically. Make sure this is definitely off, because what this does is every time you close the mod manager, it'll just uninstall all these mods from your default.xex. So you'll have to hit this button and like wait like a full minute for them to reinstall every time you want to play the game. So to avoid that, just uncheck this. Save file redirection. I'm not using any mods that care about this, so it literally doesn't matter. It's up to you. If you want to use a mod that uses save file redirection, turn it on. If you don't have any, you can turn it off. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. Right here, this yellow text, uninstall, it's gonna say install. One-click URL handler, click it, and then it'll say uninstall. What this does is when we go to Game Banana and get some mods like these, the website itself has a button that says one-click install. It won't do anything unless you've clicked this yellow text, and then it'll automatically open up a window in the Hedgehog mod manager. And it'll say, do you want to download this mod? You hit yes, and it'll show up right here automatically without you having to mess with the mods folder at all. It's very nice. I recommend it, but you don't have to. Otherwise, you have little appearance settings down here. That's cool. Updates, you can always come in here and check if any of the mods you have installed are outdated. Mine are not. And so that's what we got going on so far. So from here, you don't have any mods yet, but you still want to try out your settings here. See your API. Let's open up the game. So hit save, install content, and launch Unleashed. Now mine is loading up. You can see on the bottom here, it's installing all of my mods individually. I've already done this. It doesn't matter if you redo it or anything. If you've already got all your mods installed and everything, you just hit launch Sonic Unleashed, and you won't have to wait for all this. Down here, it'll just open right up. But for the sake of this tutorial, I am showing what you're going to be experiencing the first time, and you're going to be getting something like this, minus all the mods actually being here so far. Alright, it's opening up and we're loading. One thing you can do, press escape if you open it in full screen. Look at the top of the window here. If the window says patches applied right here, that means everything's working. You got your patches, you got your mods working. That's your main indicator. Otherwise, you can go to display full screen. And the game is going to be very loud, I recommend. Oh! You can turn it down a little bit. There we go. That's better. Alright, so yeah, I recommend, like, you know, starting up the game, see if it runs, see how far in you can get. Let's just go to like the first level I've been playing already, obviously, because I've finished doing this tutorial. But I recommend going to the first level. Yep, right here. And what you're gonna see is if the game looks alright, lighting wise, and if you can see Sonic, everything's good. If you get something like this, you're golden. You can go ahead and start installing mods. If you see all this grass around me, if this grass is glitching out and expanding and consuming the entire planet and filling up the screen and making the game unplayable, that means you have an AMD GPU, and that's fine. We are going to address that problem. Otherwise, if you're having weird graphical glitches that aren't specifically the grass, try pressing F5 on your keyboard. Alternatively, if you're using a controller, you can press R1 and it's the menu button, or the options button on a DualShock 4, a PS4 controller, which is what I'm using. You tap the touchpad, so it's not start and it's not select. It's whatever like third button you would have on a new age controller. So if you press R1 and the touchpad, see how the game lags for like a couple frames? That means I am redrawing my GPU cache, and that will fix any really bad rendering errors that are stretching out across the world. And it will also prevent crashes. Let me get a little bit further in the stage here. Oops. So right over here. Oh, I missed that. Kill these guys, come up here. So right here, after you kill this cannon guy, when you face this way, typically on an unmodded version, and especially if you're using a not optimal API like I am, right here the game will start absolutely freaking out and everything will go black and white and start flashing, and you probably have a seizure and you might die and the game will crash. If you press F5 before it crashes, it will most likely reset everything and you'll see what I'm seeing right now and you can continue. If that doesn't happen, like for me right now, then perfect, you're golden, right? If it does happen, no big deal, just hit F5 and continue and finish the stage. Man, 2 minutes on the tutorial level, that's like a D rank, right? Wow, a B. Alright, so from here, if you don't want to, you know, spoil yourself or whatever, you can close the game, put your controller down. From here, we can start doing modding stuff. So that was testing phase 1 we just did with VSync and, you know, shader rebuild. Press F5. So if you have an AMD GPU, you know, the grass textures, we're going to address that. try out the 3 different APIs. Now we're gonna do the DLC stuff. So again, I cannot tell you where to get the DLC files, but if you have them, or if you dumped them, or if you happen upon them, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to Xenia, the Canary build, which is this one. Open it up, not in full screen. File, install content. And that's going to just open up a window, and you direct it to wherever you have the DLC files, like on your desktop or wherever you happen to have them. And it'll be like, you know, the 7 adventure packs or the DLC of Sonic Unleashed, where you literally just go into the folder, you click on the one file that's in there, and there's 7 of them. You do that 7 times, and there will be no indication in the emulator. It won't say like, oh, DLC installed or whatever. Like, nothing will happen. So just do all of them, close out Xenia, and then launch the game, and the DLC will be there, and that's fine. If it's not there, don't worry about it. You know, even if you just want to play the base game of Unleashed, you don't need the DLC or anything. So from here, we are now modding Unleashed to be better. So the first thing I highly recommend is Battle Music Fix. We're gonna go right here and close these now. Battle Music Fix just removes the song from the night stages that plays every single time an enemy shows up. It removes most of the triggers. It'll still play sometimes for like special themes, so it's not like you're missing out on the song in the game at large, but it lets the actual theme of the night stages play, which is an objective improvement to the game in my opinion. Obviously it's not like required, but everybody thinks this is a good thing, right? Like, come on. Otherwise, no medal requirements. This will make it so you can still collect medals, and medals are still in the game, and that's just fine, but they don't do anything. You can just enter stages without any requirements, and you won't have to worry about grinding them or going back and searching them out or anything. And that's good for everybody, especially if you're having performance issues and you don't want to have to worry about, you know, oh, I gotta go back to that level that crashes a bunch to get more moon medals. So I highly recommend that one. And the third one, this is probably the most important mod of them all, Werehog's Fury. So what this mod does is a lot of stuff. It improves and changes the Werehog's kind of movement and like frame data. He has higher jump, better air control, stuff like that. And the other thing it does is it drastically improves the like how the game loads Werehog's fur in gameplay and in cutscenes. So download the one that is best for you, kind of based on your PC. If you have a really bad PC, get the low one. Usually most people are gonna like the medium one. I went for the default. It looks pretty much exactly like the actual game, but there are some different polygons in here that vastly improve performance when you're playing as the Werehog. So either way, this is like the medium one, I think, right here. It looks alright, yeah. So other than that, you know, it just makes the Werehog a little bit faster and more responsive, and it makes the combat, it doesn't like break the game in a cheating sort of way. It just really just makes Werehog less shitty to play as in all aspects. So I highly recommend this one. Actually, we have other mods up here. I just did the optional mods as the required mods. Anyway, other mods, AMD GPU users. If you had that grass issue in the opening level, we're gonna get this grass explosion fix. So here's how we actually do the mods. I'm going to show you right now. Download the mod, you'll get a zip folder on your desktop or whatever, unzip it, and you'll get the folder, and it's going to be this right here, AMD Grass Fix. You know, you just put it right here in the mods folder, or if you're on the Game Banana website and you click that yellow thing in the mod manager right here, one click install, it'll open up a window and it'll say, you want to install that? Hit yes. I'm going to hit no because I already have it. Great. Now it's in here. Just make sure this is what it looks like. Make sure it's not like another folder that also says AMD Grass Fix in here. You want the folder leads directly to the files like that, and that's how the emulator is going to read them. Then it'll show up in here. Hit refresh mods list to make sure it shows up. Check it. Hit save, or else it won't actually apply. You have to hit save to be like, this is the profile of mods I want for when I launch the game. Then you hit save, install content, launch Unleashed. So we're going to do that with AMD Grass Fix. We're going to do that with SU fixes. What this does is it'll prevent a lot of crashes throughout some stages, and especially the DLC stages. If you don't have the DLC, it still improves a lot of level geometry, bugs, and graphical glitches and stuff like that. So I highly recommend it. Also, you know, boost your FPS a lot. This is just like the main thing that's going to help your performance out with this update of Xenia Canary. So we're going to do that one. Same way, you know, one click install right here, whatever the newest one. Here's the DLC version, if you have the DLC. And we're also going to do the remove day-night cutscenes. So as you know, in Sonic Unleashed, when you hit one of those hourglasses in like the cities and stuff, to switch from like Werehog to Sonic, you'll get a special loading screen of a cutscene of him changing forms. It looks nice, but it takes longer than a normal load, and also the game, especially in Xenia, can crash during this cutscene a lot. So this mod just changes this loading screen into a regular loading screen, which is like twice as fast and twice as, you know, stable, like half as likely to crash the game when it's loading. So very good. If you really like that cutscene, then I guess you don't need this, but it really is going to help you, you know, not have as many crashes. So I highly recommend it. So step 10. So you're going to hit save check mods. You're going to, you know, install the content. So from here, what I like to do is wherever you have that mod manager, in my Canary right here, I made a shortcut and I put it on my desktop. That's this right here. I renamed it Sonic Unleashed, and I gave it a custom icon I got off the internet. This is very nice, right? So I just click this, it opens up the mod manager, I hit launch Sonic Unleashed, and there's the game, and that's it. So you can try out some more mods from here. Go on Game Banana. They got stuff on the side here. You can go to up here. You got a search bar for whatever you want. There's not too many mods, too many other ones. I'm trying out some other ones like the adventure quills for Supersonic, stuff like that. There's all kinds of stuff. You know, just make sure there's a lot of them that are kind of like deprecated or aren't gonna work anymore, like Sonic Unleashed Reimagined. Like this is the console edition. Obviously it's not, it will work for Xenia, but you don't like this is based on the Xenia Unleashed. Like it's like here you need the specific Xenia version, and like it's just not going to run as well as the base game. I highly recommend just playing the base game at least first, and then messing with all this more advanced stuff later. So from here you can delete that ISO extractor unless you're, you know, going to do this for other games or something, and any other auxiliary files that you have at this point. And if you have any questions from this point, if you're sure you've done everything correctly, but you're still having any problems or anything is confusing, please let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to help. And so back to the guy for your controller. So Xenia by default picks up any HID pipeline from any controller. I think it has some keyboard keybinds. I haven't actually even tried. What I literally did is I have a DualShock 4, right? I Bluetoothed it up to my PC. I turned it on. I have Steam open, and Steam kind of has like that enable DualShock driver thing in its big picture settings. So I just have Steam open. Xenia is not running through Steam or anything. It's just Steam has my DS4 like recognized, right? And that's it. I open up Xenia and it works perfectly, and that's it. That's all I had to do. If for any reason that's not what you have to do, if you have some weird other controller that isn't working the same way, or if it's a USB or something, here's what we can do. Go back into the Canary config here, and we're gonna Control F. Let me see. It's the HID value. So Control F, HID. Not this one, right here. So under HID, it should be set to any, which means any controller that Xenia can find that is inputting to your PC, it's going to apply keybinds to, so you can play Sonic Unleashed. There's all these modes of input: X input, WinKey, SDL, NOP. Any will just pick up whatever Xenia can find. If for some reason maybe you have two controllers that are interfering with each other, or maybe your keyboard takes priority over your controller because you have a weird keyboard or something, try just putting X input instead of any, or try, you know, these other ones if you have some really weird old controller or something like that. If none of those work, I can recommend try DS4 Windows right here. This is not sponsored, by the way, but DS4 Windows is a very nice program. It picks up my DS4. It picks up my Switch Pro controller. If I turn this on real quick, it'll show up on the screen here. There you go. It's a very useful program, works with Steam, it's very compatible with everything, even enables motion controls for PC and everything like that, although there aren't any for Sonic Unleashed, so we're not going to go into that with this video. Try that out. If none of that works, I think you're just having controller problems in general, and it has nothing to do with Xenia. So that's for a separate video, that kind of issue. So moving on from controllers, if you're still having performance issues, like I said, go back into the patches and turn on all the other, like, disable shadow maps and everything like that. Try out the different APIs, just kind of mess with all these optional settings until you find kind of what works best. And then from there, whatever works best, if it's still not like good enough for you, it might just be that your hardware isn't up to snuff, or the emulator just isn't updated for your particular hardware yet. At the end of the guide here, what I put is some basic instructions. If there's ever another build of Xenia that comes out that is way better or like way more stable for Sonic Unleashed specifically, I will try to come back and update this link. But, you know, obviously if it's 20 years down the line and I'm like dead or something, I'm not going to be able to come in and update this link. So there's just an instruction down at the bottom here of how to do it. So you just get whatever the latest build is, and you just redirect the Hedge Mod Manager. You go into the settings here, just change the not the game executable, the emulator executable, just change that to the newer version of Canary, and then go into wherever you have that newer version and do the same configuration settings we did here in this video, and that's it. Welcome to Sonic Unleashed. We're gonna start the game, we're gonna have fun. Sega. All right. Thank you for watching, everybody. I'm gonna play some Sonic Unleashed. Like I said, let me know down in the comments how you feel about Sonic Unleashed, and let me know if you have any problems, any questions. I would be happy to help, and please also talk to me about Sonic Unleashed, because in my opinion, this is the best Sonic game ever. And finally, the least accessible Sonic game is now relatively pretty accessible, because like my computer is not like super strong by any means. I have a RX 580, which is like a 6-year-old GPU, right? And hell, I'm getting full like 120 FPS in Sonic Unleashed on an emulator. That's insane, right? And I've experienced 0 crashes. There are some times where during a loading screen, the game will hitch and hang on a loading screen, and I'll have to like restart, but the game always saves before and after loading screens, so that literally doesn't matter. You just restart the game and it's fine. Other than that, I have had 0 graphical issues once I got all my settings correct. So it's been absolutely perfect. It's like I'm playing on a real Xbox 360, but even better because there's actual FPS and resolution and the Werehog's Fury mod and everything like that. It's great. Thank you for watching. Please comment, please like, please subscribe. I am Zarkator, and I will see you guys on Earth, I guess. I guess this is Sonic Earth. Okay, bye.